completed our 2018 reappraisal. This later, about May of this year, got the state to review our values and approve them tentatively, and so we started sending notices out just a few weeks ago. We sent 136,000 notices of the reappraisal out to property owners throughout Stark County. But the response, as Alan pointed out, we have GIS has worked with us on tracking property owners who received their notice and would like us to review their valuation, giving us various reasons why they might believe it might be an error. Most of them, not surprisingly, are thinking it may be a little on the high side and wanting an adjustment downward, but we're tracking that across the county. As you can see, it's basically all over the board, which would be a good sign for a fair and equitable reappraisal, that we're not just picking on one particular area. We try to set values as close to market across the board in Stark County. So at this point we're operating, we had about 530 appeals as of today, so it's been a little more than a week, and we've got about 530 appeals filed with us. And we're asking the public to review their record online. We have an application that basically they can walk through to see the characteristics that we have on their property, the values that we've established, and then provide us with evidence that we might not be aware of. Many people have appraisals that they get done for refinancing. Maybe they're thinking about listing their home, or they just recently purchased a home. That information, we're asking them to bring it forward so that we can make adjustment if needed.
Is that
we'll send notices, we'll review the information they gave us on the informal in September and October. We'll send notices out in November, and then if they're not pleased with the informal result, Alex, they do have the option to file a formal appeal at that point. But we're trying to handle as many of these informally as we can.
Once all those levies are set in November,
right. Oh, sure.
and they see that tax bill,
right, the triggers
report, that's when you're going to get the
that's
calls.
the triggers the tax.
That's
bill.
what's
So
going
many
to
times.
get the calls.
Yeah.
Well, and one of the, we're getting calls right now. A lot of our calls are, well, what's this mean for my taxes?
Right.
And we've tried to explain to the public, we don't know exactly what's going to happen with your taxes. As Janet pointed out, you know, they pass levies in November, that changes everything. We've been telling people we won't have the tax rates from the state until really the week of Christmas is usually when we get them. House Bill 920 was implemented to try to offset changes in reappraisal. Valuations would increase due to reappraisal, and the majority of levies, their rates will be lowered in conjunction with the increase in value to try to collect the same amount of money that was originally voted upon on those levies.
Like, what have you guys been doing today here in the Lake Library?
We have been meeting with taxpayers and discussing their property values or any issues that they have with the property listing or questions regarding taxes. The most common just seems to be the increase in the value from previous, but once we review their property listing and review the sales in the area, they see that we are still below the true market value of what they could sell their home for. And with those appeals, it is typically, they do have a refinanced appraisal or something of that sort to support the fact that our value does need adjusted.
Okay.